In this presentation, Megan and I are going to further explore virtual reality and see how its current trend in technology could shape future students and learning environments. The presentation will describe practical uses of this approach as well as show how others feel about its introduction into schools. This will consist of us starting the presentation with an overview that explains what virtual reality is and then providing more about VR's key features and functions. Following the background information, we will explain the role certain people play regarding the integration of virtual reality into the classroom. These roles include those of the teacher, curriculum coordinator, parent, and community person. These members view the incorporation of VR in the classroom from different perspectives. Each of these roles have identified both certain challenges and values dealing with the usage of virtual reality in education. Once each role has been discussed, a YouTube video will show a demonstration of virtual reality and its effects on student learning. This video accounts for the ways in which virtual reality brings a whole new dynamic to the classroom. It is important to begin with a clear understanding of virtual reality. Virtual Reality Society defines virtual reality as the term used to describe a three-dimensional, computer-generated environment which can be explored and interacted with by a person. That person becomes part of this virtual world or is immersed within this environment and whilst there is able to manipulate objects or perform a series of actions. This essentially says that a person is able to navigate a new setting through a computer simulation. 4 key elements of the virtual reality experience include the virtual world, immersion, sensory feedback, and interactivity. Virtual reality can serve many functions. These include its utilization for virtual reality field trips, the general education and special education classrooms, the military, sports, mental health, social skills, and medical training. The first role we will investigate is that of the teacher. To look at specific challenges, we must first realize that not all teachers are going to be familiar or comfortable with VR technologies. They may have difficulty adjusting to using these in their classrooms. Second, time and resources must be expended in order to train teachers. They are going to have to learn about how best to teach their students and meet all of their needs in a completely new way. Not all teachers' pedagogical beliefs will line up with VR. They may not agree with the approach and may have strong opinions against it. On the other hand, a value is that teachers will be able to relate more to their students. This is because the current generation is comfortable with technology and like to use it in any possible way. Teachers may also see an increase in performance. Students can more fully interact within a simulation by being hands-on rather than just remaining stagnant at their desks. Finally, teachers can easily control environments. Teachers are able to create content that they can share with the entire class. The curriculum coordinator is the second role to consider. One challenge is that it is a complex process to create new curricula from scratch that includes virtual reality technologies. VR is still a relatively new technology, so there are not many resources out there. It is also unlikely to find professional development to support emerging curricula that implements VR technologies. Again, there are limits for educators in improving their skills regarding virtual reality when there are not many resources available. A major value for curriculum coordinators is that curricula can reach all students. Research has shown no differences in learning on assessments for students of differing genders or previous VR experience. This is important because it allows all students the opportunity to receive a fair education. In addition, virtual reality may be used as a new methodology for curriculum learning. There have been positive results dealing with both learning motivation and learning competency. Not only are students willing to engage, but the results are showing that they are learning from these VR technologies.
Next up, we have the parent role, and parents are very conflicted over virtual reality. The research shows that a main concern that parents have with virtual reality is the unfamiliarity that is associated with it. And this just means that these parents have not had virtual reality. They don't know what it is. They don't know the benefits that it offers. And they're concerned about the training that it's going to take and what that means for their student. They're, of course, putting their student first, and they are concerned and are having this overwhelming feeling of anxiety with the effects that virtual reality may have on their children. This, again, taps into the fear of the unknown and just what does it mean for their child? How is this going to benefit their child? Is it going to hurt them? Parents are also very excited because their students are being exposed to virtual field trips that they otherwise may never have experienced. They are getting to go places and see things that are out of the country that they otherwise may never see. And virtual reality is giving them that chance. Parents are noticing that their students are coming home and they are much more engaged in their learning. They are very excited about what they're learning and they are able to recite what they are learning in the classroom. And that is a very exciting time. The students are also building empathy towards each other, so this gives them real life experience. Next up, we have the community person. And there's a concern in the community that what is the cost going to be for virtual reality? How is this going to affect our schools? Where is this funding going to be coming from? Virtual reality is very expensive, and the community is just very concerned about how this will impact their school. There is also a challenge related to the sustainability of virtual reality and how to properly introduce it into the community. Again, there's another side, and there's some big values that the community is seeing with virtual reality, and that their students are being taught social skills to help them out in the community. They're being taught real life scenarios that they can take with them throughout their life. Our students are also being exposed to a whole new world outside of the classroom, and that is very exciting. Next up, we have a demonstration of virtual reality, and this is just a quick YouTube video.
So today we're actually at a local school in Toronto, Canada, and we're showcasing VR powered by Radeon. We are showcasing it to students and teachers, and the experiences have been amazing.
It was an opportunity that Kelvin Lamb, who teaches computers and math and science, got us into, and he was looking for a group of enthusiastic kids, and there's nothing more enthusiastic than a group of grade 9 kids.
So what made me open to the VR demo today is that I want the kids to be able to experience VR, because we are talking about current events in the technology field, and some of their schoolwork has been about virtual reality and how that's changing the world as we know it. I can see that this can relate into the classroom, especially in things like mathematics. Drawing shapes and structures in the 3D would be really helpful to understand how the system functions, as opposed to trying to hold up 3 meter sticks and showing X, Y, and Z axes.
You put the Z axis! Z axis!
Within 2 seconds of practice, I could pretty much represent any function that I wanted to on the board. Just being able to draw 2 different functions and see the intersection point and then be able to rotate those around any axis you wanted. Being able to visualize it that easily, that's something that I know from university. It took me a year or 2 to visualize that and fully comprehend it. So if they could do it in a class or 2, I mean, they're already going to be 10 steps ahead of their teachers that had to do it the old school way.
I wasn't really expecting any of this going in, and then when I saw it, everything was really nice, and it was actually such a good experience to see this.
It's actually so real.
Right, you want to look to your right a little bit, to your right, slowly up to your right, more to your right.
Oh, it's actually a ship.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, if I had a couple of classes that were using VR, I'd probably be more engaged, because it would be more fun. It would also be more interactive with the type of lessons, and it would actually be really cool.
If we had VR in the classroom, it would be amazing, because it's a great visual tool.
Yeah, if we had VR in our classrooms, it'd be really immersive, and we'd be able to understand a lot more. Well, at least I think so.
We're opening up everything for the future. We love to talk about 21st century learning, and we love to say what it's like. We're 16 years into it, we still don't know what it's like. This seems a natural progression of what we're doing, and this gives us the opportunity that we wouldn't otherwise have.
You get students now jumping into math class, you've got the top 10% that are full into it and try things at home. Then you've got 80-90% of that class that is just doing the math because it's there in the textbook and they have to follow that example. But if you're able to pull it into a program like the VR headset, where they were generally interested and wanted to try it and were excited about it every single day coming to math class, just a lot easier to teach when everyone has a smile on their face and everyone's passionate about what they're doing.
And again, that is just a quick insight in what VR looks like inside a classroom. And then here's a quick look at the references and resources that we used for this presentation.